The night before Mount Vesuvius erupted, I cooked cana for my Dominus and his family. Despite the intermittent tremors, I had to be careful not to burn myself, because occasionally the hot coals fell on the floor due to the shaking. After I served cana to everyone, I tried to sleep, but I didn't get much rest because the house Canis, Delta, kept whining. I rose earlier than usual to prepare prandium. When I went to the hortus to get some herbs, I noticed a thick, black cloud blocking the sun above me. The plants in the hortus were covered in a layer of ash, so I decided not to pick any. I was getting progressively more worried throughout the morning. Finally, I realized that the tremors were getting so strong that the villa might collapse on us. In a panic, I tore through the villa, shouting the names of the family members. Neither the Dominus or the Domina could be found anywhere. They must have left the villa. I decided to escape with their daughter, Appia, and Delta, because one wall had already collapsed and we couldn't have stayed any longer. Nola Street was a sea of panicked Pompeians and thick ashes. I turned onto Stabe Street and headed toward the Stabe Gate. Eventually, the three of us made it to the port through the turbay. "Where's Mater and Pater?" cried Appia. Her frantic tears made rivers through her cinder-blackened cheeks. The only way to persuade her to get on the boat to safety was to promise that I would go back and look for her parents. I told her, no matter what, to stay with Delta. Once I was sure that she wouldn't run back into the herbs to search for her parents, I pushed my way upstream through the turbay of people. Suddenly I heard a cry for help that I immediately recognized as my Dominus's voice. I hurried over to the sound and found him clutching his leg in agony. I noticed the pile of debris next to him that only hours ago was his amicus's villa. "What happened?" I asked with concern. While we were visiting Albinus, it became clear that we had to escape Pompeii immediately. I was going to go back to the villa for Appia and Delta when this wall collapsed and crushed my lower leg. But where is Appia? Is she safe? Is Delta okay? And where's my Uxor, Aria? I haven't seen her since my leg was crushed. I took her and Delta to the harbor. She's safe, but she's worried about her parents. Here, use this branch of wood as a crutch and get to the harbor. I'll find Domina, and I'll meet you there. After I helped my Dominus up and saw him hobble into the throng of escaping citizens, I ran through the partially collapsed villa, calling my Domina's name. Some rooms were on fire from the eruption, and smoke filled the air, causing me to cough. My eyes were watering, and I could barely see Decem feet in front of me. Eventually, I found her passed out in the cubiculum. I picked up her limp body and fled the villa. Running as quickly as possible while holding another person, I joined the turba once again and hurried through the via. The ashes were nearly up to my knees now, and the acrid odor of smoke filled the city. Everywhere I looked, the buildings were either rubble or being consumed by flames. Finally, I made it to the port. I called out my Dominus's name in vain. It would be impossible for him to hear me among the other cries for lost family and amici. I spotted my Dominus's amicus about to escape on a boat and pushed my way through to him. "Take us to safety," I begged. "The boat is already too full. We cannot possibly fit both of you," answered Albinus. In a split second I made up my mind. "I'll stay behind, but take Domina. My Dominus has always been good to me. I want his family to stay together. Promise me that you will help reunite my Dominus's family." Albinus agreed and took Aria aboard. I watched them cast off and disappear into the horizon as a deafening explosion sounded from Mount Vesuvius that knocked me off my feet. I fell, hit my head, and knew no more.